offline. Okay, let's see. Okay, hi everyone. I'm Anna Anders on this Spreaker online radio show. It's Sunday, August 13th, I believe, right, hon? Yeah. August 13th. This is a Spreaker radio show. Anna Anders, shout out to everyone, everywhere, no exceptions. And this radio show is being done in corrupt Illuminati, Cleveland, Ohio. Maple Heights, Ohio specifically. But my other half and I were sitting here on the couch. And I'm going to bring up a topic here real quick. And it's an Illuminati topic. Shout out. I had this inspiration. My other half doesn't know that I'm going to even bring it up. But when these situations will happen like this for me, when I have a moment of clarity, I like to bring it up and turn it into either a video or radio show. And my video data is all used up right now, so that's why I chose to do this radio show. So Carrie's here with me, and I apologize. My voice is a little squeaky because I've had a cold this past week, which I don't normally get sick. But trust me, people, trust me that these chemtrails, weather warfare, and, this stuff is really happening. And never forget that term that the government never forget the terms that the government gives us, okay? So, for example, they gave us the word conspiracy when JFK was assassinated, and that would be the Bush boys from Texas, oil country Texas, that gave us that word conspiracy. The Bush boys. Yes, I'm talking about Bush Sr., Bush Jr. They formed that CIA with their grandfather, Prescott Bush. CIA, cocaine importing agency. You can call it whatever you want to call it, but that's what Grandma Anna's going to call it. So they gave us a few words, and it's all a rich man's trick, bait and switch game of terminology. So what I want to say here is this. They gave us conspiracy. They gave us bioterrorism term. They gave us the word terrorism term. We never heard of the word terrorism until the Oklahoma City bombing. By the way, folks, watch the documentary called From JFK to 9/11, It's a Rich Man's Trick. Watch the documentary called A Noble Lie, which is a documentary about the Oklahoma City bombing. By the way, folks, the first two people on that Oklahoma City bombing tragedy was a police officer from Oklahoma City, and he was a black police officer. And by the way, folks, the second person was a white doctor. I don't know the doctor's name even, and I'm sorry to remember people this way, but this is the way I roll. So what I want to tell you about both those human beings today, black and white, they're both dead. They're both dead because they saw things that they shouldn't have seen at that federal mural building explosion, because that's what that was, an explosion, just like the World Trade Center complex on 9/11/01. Just like the World Trade Center complex on 9/11/01. Those were explosions. Who cleaned up Ground Zero? A company called Controlled Demolition. Okay, but back to this idea of these three terminologies. Conspiracy, bioterrorism, and what did I say? Conspiracy, bioterrorism, and terrorism. Now I want to bring up something to you because it's all a rich man's trick, and I want you to think about Her Majesty. Her Majesty, the court of queens and kings. Now, when I use that word court, we've been courting her royalty and Her Majesty for a long time throughout corrupt Illuminati history. By the way, folks, Illuminati history, it came right out of the corrupt courts, the Queen's Court, out of London, England. So with Grandma Anna bringing that up, I want to talk about something. This morning, I was in my kitchen, and I was bitching and doing some dishes, but, just keeping it real, but something hit me. I had an awakening. I want to talk about the maritime laws and how lawyers got made, or you can call some of them liars because that's what they're good at, lying. So all this maritime laws and maritime stuff traveled over on those boats from corrupt Illuminati England. So what I'm thinking about here today is the courts. Here, the courts in corrupt Illuminati, United States of America, the courtrooms. Yes, we refer to the judges as our magistrate. Magistrate. That's not too far away from Her Majesty. It's not too far away from, and we got the person who's the courtroom jester, or I'm sorry, not the courtroom jester, but the, I don't know how they refer to that guy, or that person, I should say, who kind of keeps control of the courtroom. I want to call it courtroom gesture. So it's all a rich man's trick, see? And it trickles down. It's a rich man's trick, and it trickles down from a corrupt Illuminati England. And so it's been a bait and switch game of Just Us Club. And there's a comedian, I can't remember his name. Do you remember the comedian's name? He said it's a rich man's club, and none of us are in it. So the word magistrate and majesty is definitely Illuminati related. And this is what, and even though it's not outdated, this is 2017. But they're still playing us like pawns, political pawns, all the way from the corrupt Her Majesty Royal, whatever you want to call it, royal and disloyal to the people, we the people on the planet, because they've been busy booting and looting everything. So anyways, hi hon, do you have anything to say about this? What do you think about me suggesting that the courtrooms come down? The concept of the courtrooms have trickled down from the corrupt Illuminati queen and those situations. What do you think? Do you think anything about it? You think it's possible? What's that, hon? I can't hear you.
They paid the immigrant Germans to come over and be lawyers, scientists, school teachers, to start the false indoctrination through religions, churches, ministries, in the militant, the government, the politics. It all started way back when the Freemasons came over.
On the Mayflower.
1600s, if not 1500s. 1400s.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and you brought up something yesterday, too, about a king. It all goes back to King who?
Well, that was with the Babbitt tree.
The Babbitt family tree?
The Babbitt family tree is not only spelled just B-A, it's B-O-B-I-T.
Okay. Bobbit and Babbitt, they're all related.
Only because it's related because of the gematria. The encrypted, encoded, secret language of the supposed... They're just going to name themselves, and that's the Zionist Jews.
Okay.
All over again.
It's hidden language of Illuminati gematria, and it comes from the Zionist Jews, is what Carrie's saying. And recently, Carrie and I,
It's not really hidden. It just kept away from
the general public. Yeah, the general public doesn't know about it. So in other words, Hollyweird is not teaching people about gematria, right, Carrie? Okay, and then recently there was an activist, a young man by the name of Zachary K. Hubbard, on the YouTube channel, and he was breaking down a lot of this. He was decoding a lot of Illuminati rituals that they were doing. Is that right, Karen? And they snatched up all his YouTube videos and stuff on him. So we'll have to keep an eye out for Zachary K. Hubbard. You can Google on YouTube and see what he's doing, you guys. But, you know, a lot of truthers and a lot of activists, a lot of people that want good things to happen for our world, and not just our country, but our world in general, that want the truth to come out, they're being sabotaged online and offline. I mean, for God's sake, we were sabotaged, Carrie and I. We were trying to make peace flags right after 9/11/01 here in corrupt Illuminati Cleveland. We had no clue the ties and the connections of Cleveland to the events of 9/11/01. But our family member, just as the time that she got abducted, justice was obstructed. So I want to call the Cleveland abduction case story, our family story, I want to call it the Cleveland obstructive case. But Carrie and I were trying to make peace flags right here in corrupt Illuminati Cleveland right in 2003 and 2004. We were living here in corrupt Illuminati Cleveland, and then that horrific event happened, and it kind of catapulted us into different directions. It would you too if it happened in your family tree, people. So don't just think, oh my God, it's taken this lady and her partner, her life partner, years to make these peace flags. Well, it is. You try to live through the trials and tribulations and the sabotaging of ourselves, but we're not the first people to go through any 9/11s. My other half says...
And the crooked law systems anywhere and everywhere, dropping a ball on you when you want truth and you want help and you want true justification and, true officers of peace.
True peace officers. So our police officers are supposed to be peace officers, not to serve and protect us all, and not just some people, and peace and happiness and respect is not, and kindness is not just for some people. It's not for just the white people. The white people aren't just the right people. I mean, God did not make a vanilla ice cream world here. He made a Neapolitan world, and it's very, how do I say this? Very diverse culturally speaking. But I got to tell you, the rich men, they want to divide and conquer this all up, right down to the DNA. They don't want people to have their bloodlines. So that's what's happening in all these wars and all the desecration and exploitation of human lives that's really manifesting ever since the Federal Reserve Bank was established. And by the way, people, find out who set up the Federal Reserve banking industry, and you're going to find out who's been creating all this looting and booting on the planet and wars, all the drama, and chaos, and who's funded Big Pharma, Monsanto, and Bayer Corporation. So this is what it is. And like my other half said, they're supposed to be peace officers. So a situation just happened in Euclid, Ohio here. Euclid, Ohio, heads up. So, we shouldn't be beating on people. We have our constitutional rights. People have the freedom of right and the rights to speak. We do. We all have the right to speak, and we should not be beat up for it. How dare anybody put their hands on somebody that way? That's what you got your tasers for. That's what you got handcuffs for. Now, why do you want to raise a fist? And why are our officers, let's talk about a bigger issue here too. Why is our officers going to Israel to be trained? Why is that happening here in the United States of America? Our soldiers and our officers have nothing to do with Israel. Israel needs to be training their own police officers and their own soldiers for themselves. Israel needs to be taking care of itself financially too. Why are we always sending money to Israel? Why is it that our people don't have health care benefits and our schools are failing, but yet Israel's schools, kids can go to college there for free, and our children are burdened with student loans through the student loan scam, I want to say? Why are we in the situation? Why are we in the boats that we're in today? And speaking of boats, research and do your history on the U.S. liberty. Because Israel attacked it.
Lies, that's why.
Because why?
All schooling are lies. There's false indoctrination of
false histories. False histories.
Nobody's history.
Mm-hmm. So this is where we're at today, guys. We're just, giving you a little bit of mojo here. So a couple of my friends from Cleveland have sent me a link about a cop beating up somebody. Right, Carrie?
Yes.
So Carrie witnessed the video. I did too. And all I can say is stop the violence. Stop the violence. Stop the brutality. Hey, you're talking to Anna Anders here today at forglobalpeace.com. And what I want to say here today is this. I'm a family member to the Cleveland abduction or Cleveland obstruction story. They had Ariel Castro's license plate number within 48 hours. And they didn't do nothing. The corrupt Illuminati peace officers sat on that information for 10 torturing years.
Didn't look for her.
Didn't look for her. Didn't look for Amanda Berry, Michelle Knight either. So it's not just Gina, Michelle Knight, and Amanda Berry, too, they didn't look for. So what I want to say is in 2011 and 2012, I came home from corrupt Illuminati Flagstaff, Arizona. That's where they train the CIA, by the way, and the FBI up there in Flagstaff. So I didn't know when I go out for a spiritual calling. I didn't know none of that stuff, but now I know it today. It's all a rich man's trick. But what I want to say is this. I had to come home in 2011 and 2012 to do some activist work to look for Gina. Right, Carrie?
Yes.
Yeah, and so that's what happened to us here as a family. And a year later, exactly to the date that I did that activist work, my activist work, I would like to think, paid off a little bit, un poquito, because Gina was found right on our family street where my father bought our home at 3216 Seymour Avenue. She was found right down the street, one block down. And I got to tell you, the Illuminati's so real, like corrupt Israel's real, guys. I want to say this. I'm going to give you an example of their work. They manipulated my family emotionally and spiritually to tear down Ariel Castro's home, to tear down some facts. Now I'm going to show you something. They tore down a factual and actual story. But now the corrupt Illuminati of Hollyweird, they keep their fiction stories up. So they made a movie in corrupt Illuminati Cleveland called The Christmas Story. They made a movie. And in that house on West 11th and Clark Avenue, which happens to be off of a street that I lived at 1013 Buer Avenue, They made a movie there while I was there raising my children with my husband. And what I want to say is they preserved that house and they put a leg lamp, which is really, it's another form of their corrupt perversion, if you ask me. They like perverting and polluting our society, morally and ethically speaking. So, they want that to be at the forefront of our family lives. Well, I got to say this much. I'm not into Illuminati fiction anymore. I see right through all the lies. I see right through all the lies. I realize all the lies, all their lies. I realize that with my own real brain and my own real eyes. But it's time for all of us to wake up and take up the truth. And the truth is we all been lied to throughout history. Corrupt Illuminati history. Because those boats that had Illuminati Christopher Columbus in it came from corrupt Illuminati England. They were built there. And those would be the boats that brought over the Africans for the slave trading. So when you want to do your history or his story, you got to go back and examine all of it, not just pieces and parts of it. And today, Grandma Anna Anders here, Maple Heights, Ohio, has a question for you. Who owns the diamond mines today in Africa? Which African tribes are benefiting? Are all the African tribes benefiting from those bling bling diamond mines? I hope they are, because they deserve it, because they've been to hell and back all throughout history. Which African tribes? And if they don't own their diamond mines, that's because they were booted and looted upon and exploited. And those diamond mines were stolen, taken right out from underneath their feet. And now you need to see the documentary called The Blood Diamonds right away. Watch the documentary called The Blood Diamonds right away. And that'll give you part of the story of how African tribes people get their hands and feet cut off in these diamond mining areas because corrupt Illuminati mob bosses don't even trust them to mine their own diamond mines. That's how needy, seedy, and greedy and evil people can be. I'm humbly Anna Anders on the Spreaker radio show here today in my living room, or dying room as I like to call them these days, because people, you're sitting around on your asses dying in your living rooms. Why don't you get up and do something to help others, to help resurrect the truth of our corrupt Illuminati history? How about that one? How about if we all get together to resurrect the truth of corrupt Illuminati history and put it in their faces peacefully and respectfully, and not let them exploit us and desecrate us anymore. And forget dividing our DNA. Forget dividing up people. How about trying to unite us?
A pretty word called colonization.
Say it again, hon. Reservation's a pretty word called colonization.
Yep, both.
Yeah, and they put them out there because you know why? In the middle of the desert. Do you know how hard the struggle is in the middle of the desert, folks? It's really real. It's desperate times for desperate people doing desperate things. And I want to give a shout out because they really made them suffer. And I've seen it. And they put the train lines right in the middle of the desert. Winslow. And I'm not going to call it Winslow anymore because it's called Winslow. That's how they spelled it out. Because they knew they were going to win slow. So Grandma Anna didn't admit this one yet to my other half here, but she heard it just now.
Windians, which we saw
yesterday. Yeah, so Winslow and Windians. Illuminati needs to be exposed. Okay, so too long-winded here today. Folks, if I got to be nice, people want me to stay calm. We all need to be nice and stay calm and respectful to everyone everywhere. Peace and love and serenity and respect is not just for some people. It's for all people, everyone, everywhere, no exceptions. Globally. From local to global.
And animals too.
And for our animal kingdom and for our sacred Mother Earth too, who gives birth to everything for us to sustain us. Look what sacred Mother Earth has been doing all these hundreds and billions of years. And what are we doing to contribute to her well-being? Nothing but a bunch of drama, trauma, and chaos by a bunch of bambling Illuminati idiots, warmongering, who have bunged it all up. I don't want to hear it. You have anything else to add to this radio show, Carrie?
Just get awake, do your own research, and speak the truth.
Yeah, and carry the truth for all the days of your life.
Live
Not
the
just
goodness, live the sacredness, live the spiritual reality.
have some spiritual bling bling, in other words. Not diamonds, but spiritual bling bling. That means to do the right thing for everyone everywhere. That's what spiritual bling bling means. Don't you agree, hon?
Yep.
Yeah, and be humble about it, too. So, I got a big mouth. I mean, I'm humble, guys, but I got a big mouth, and guess what? Somebody needs to have a big mouth when it comes to the Illuminati, because right now, the Illuminati is very big from local to global, and it's messing with every family tree history. I guarantee you that. Is that a true statement, Carrie?
Yes, they've uprooted all roots and dispersed.
I'm glad you said that,
and
hon.
eliminated.
There you go. So she's right. All sacred...
Making money off of they're thinking of artifacts and findings of people's sacred burialnesses of their roots, museums.
Fiction. So as they're booting and looting the planet, people, and stealing sacred artifacts, like Carrie said, they're taking those sacred artifacts and they turn them into museums where they actually charge money. Watch what they did at Ground Zero. Watch what they did in Oklahoma City bombing. Watch what they're doing here in corrupt Illuminati Cleveland, where the Christmas tree story, a fake Illuminati story, manifested. They didn't tell the truth about 9/11. They didn't tell the truth about Oklahoma City bombing. And they sure as hell ain't telling the truth about the Cleveland obstruction story. It turned into a sack of Illuminati lies. Okay, an exploitation of our family tree history. But people, I got to tell you, we're not the only family that's been exploited throughout history. So let's get with that. I'm not worried about my family today. You know what I'm worried about? All families. So when I speak here today, I don't just speak from my family. I'm not selfish and self-seeking. ForGlobalPeace.com is a peace flag initiative for everyone, everywhere, no exceptions. That's what ForGlobalPeace.com is for. So when we're dead and gone here, you people can learn how to resurrect ForGlobalPeace.com for your families and for all families. Always, so that this kind of Illuminati bullshit doesn't ever happen again to humankind and to our sacred Mother Earth. Would you say that's fair to say, Carrie?
Pretty fair.
Okay. Done speaking here. Grandma Anna, don't have nothing else to say. Do you have anything to add to this radio show?
No.
All right. Peace out. Aho esquale kuna.
Yeah.